Hello and welcome to another video. Today's lesson is on writing linear equations. Here we go. Here's the first slide. So our objective for today, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to write linear equations and identify the independent variable and the dependent variable. Here's the next slide. Here are 3 vocabulary words that you must know. We have linear equation. Please write this down. We have linear equation. This is an equation with 2 different variables. So it can be x and y, it can be c and d. It just has to be 2 different variables, not the same. An independent variable, this is describing the 2 variables that are in the linear equation. So in a linear equation we have a dependent and an independent. Okay, so the independent variable, this variable changes the value of the dependent variable. So this value can really change more than the dependent variable. So independent variables change, dependent variables change based on the independent variable. So going to a dependent variable, this variable's value will change depending on the independent variable. So you can think of like an independent person, like an adult. This is an independent person. So a dependent is like you guys. So like children are dependents on their parents who are independent. All right, so you rely on the independent variable. Okay, and here's an example. Here we have a linear equation because they have 2 different variables. And so here is our independent. And please write this down. Independent variable. And depending on what this variable is, it changes the dependent variable. This is the dependent variable. Okay, make sure you write this down. Alright, so we have the independent variable and the dependent variable. This value will change depending on what this value is. Okay, so you have to be able to identify which one is the independent and which is the dependent. Alright, let's try our first problem. We have 5 problems today. Here's our first one. So Hannah took P minutes to jog around a park. Sophia took 12 minutes longer to jog around the park. If Sophia took t minutes to jog around the park, express t in terms of p. Okay, so what this means is basically we're writing a linear equation. So if Hannah took p minutes, let's reread it again, to jog around a park, and Sophia took 12 minutes longer, well, Sophia took longer. Okay, so see if Sophia took t minutes. So we're going to write this as t, okay, equals 12 plus p. Because this is Sophia, she took t minutes to jog around the park, and she also took 12 minutes longer than Hannah, who is p. Okay, so here is our linear equation. T equals 12 plus p. And so then we can call this p. This is our independent. And this is our dependent variable. All right, so please make sure you write this down. Let's try the next problem. Okay, so a bouquet of roses cost $30. So we can even write this down. Roses cost $30. And please write it neater than I do. Please write this in your notebook. A bouquet of tulips, like a bunch of tulips, costs $M less. Okay, so the tulips costs, and remember $M less, that means it goes after. Okay, so $M less than the roses. If the cost of one bouquet of tulips is N dollars, express N in terms of M. So the tulips are also N dollars. So we can write our equation, our linear equation, like this. So here is our linear equation then, right? Okay, so that means that this is our independent, variable, and this is our dependent. And so when the value of this changes, then the value of our dependent variable changes. Okay? Let's try the third problem. A motel charges Mr. Kim X dollars for his stay. So X dollars, that's total. So total stay, I'm going to write total stay, is X dollars. Okay, that's just our first sentence. Mr. Kim stayed at the motel for 12 nights. If the rate per night for a room is Y dollars, express Y in terms of X. Okay, so the rate per night for a room is Y dollars. And he stayed for how many nights? 12 nights, right? So if he stayed for 12 nights at a rate per night of Y dollars per night, then that means that he paid 12 times Y because he stayed for 12 nights. Each night was worth Y dollars. And so that is a total of X dollars for the total stay. Okay, and here's our linear equation. And so our dependent variable is really just the total amount. So this is our dependent variable. And this is the independent. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Independent. Okay, so we have our independent and then we have our dependent. All right? So remember, our dependent will change depending on what the independent variable is. Okay, here's our fourth problem. Nathan has 7 boxes of marbles. Each box contains B marbles. So we have 7 boxes. We can even draw this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each box contains B marbles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If he has C marbles all together, express C in terms of B. So the total is going to be C, right? Now, all together, we have 7 boxes of B marbles. So that means that that is 7B. That's like saying B plus B plus B plus B plus B plus B plus B. That's 7B. And all together, it's worth C marbles, right? C marbles all together. So that means that here's our linear equation because we have 2 variables. And here is our, can you guess? This is our independent. And that makes this our dependent variable, okay? And so you need to be able to identify the independent and dependent variables of linear equations. That's part of your job. Here's our last problem. Okay, so you need to copy down this table because after you figure out the values, you can plot it on a graph, and that's what we'll be doing in class tomorrow. So the width of a rectangular tank is 2 meters less than its length. So they already started a data chart for you, right? So if the length of P meters and the width is Q meters, write an equation relating P and Q. Well, we know that this is 2 meters less, right? So we need to make sure we just subtract 2 each time. So 3 minus 2 is 1, 4 minus 2 is 2, 5 minus 2 is 3, 6 minus 2 is 4, yes, they did that. 7 minus 2 is 5, 8 minus 2 is 6. Okay, so we did part A. Great. Part B, use the data from A, right here, to plot the points on a coordinate plane. Connect the points with a line. So here's the key word. Linear equations, after you plot it on a coordinate plane or a graph, it will make a line. That's how you know it's a linear equation. All right? So if you need to write that down, please make sure you do. Linear equations, when drawn on a graph, make a line. Okay, so look at it. The point, let's see. So if you draw it on a graph, this is what you're going to notice. So they're going to ask if this point makes sense in the solution. Okay, and you can figure that out. Yes, it does, or no, it doesn't. Okay. All right. Here's your homework. Oh, so by now you should be able to write linear equations and identify the independent variable and the dependent variable. If you cannot do this, you need to go back and rewatch a couple problems. Okay, and make sure you guys know because we will be graphing in class. All right, here's their homework. All right, there are two problems, this problem, and I will see you tomorrow.